All right, welcome back. This is episode 2 of New Earth Creative Leadership Podcast. Don't mind me. I'm just getting myself comfortable to sit and chat with you today. So, today we are diving into really just letting go of all the excuses, dropping the excuses and just doing what needs to get done. So, we're going to look at this from a few different perspectives. We're going to look at this from a few different lenses. I'm also going to share my own personal experience of what has been coming through me, what has been moving through me this week, over the last couple weeks, and how this has influenced this podcast episode. And also, I'm hoping that this podcast will then motivate you to just do the things that you need to do, to stop stalling, to stop holding on to all this mental clutter, and to just start taking action, but taking action in an aligned way, in a way that you feel good and you feel empowered about the actions that you're taking. So let's dive into this podcast episode. If you don't already know, I am your host, Serena. I am so happy that you're joining me today. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel. This is a baby podcast. So we are trying to grow this channel as quickly as possible, help you feel empowered in your soul aligned business, help you create this from a place of intention, of pureness and alignment. So that's my goal with this podcast. And with everybody that I have on this podcast, it is to literally catalyze and catapult ourselves forward in this space. So help me complete the energy exchange by liking this, commenting on it, interacting with it in some way that feels aligned to you. And if you make it all the way to the end, I'm going to share a special little emoji that you can comment on at the end to see who's made it all the way to the end. But without further ado, let's get into the topic for today. So we're talking about enough of the excuses. Something that's coming to me now is like, it's never the right time. That's one of our main excuses, right? Especially from a spiritual place. It's not the right time. The energy doesn't feel right. And this is an ego trap, you guys. It's an ego trap because it's never going to feel like the right time. You're never going to feel ready enough to leap into the unknown. That's the actual point is, if you knew it was the right time, then it wouldn't be a leap of faith, right? You wouldn't need to trust. You wouldn't need to have faith because it's calculated, right? The only time you can truly trust is when there's nothing to hold on to. That's why it's a leap of faith, because you are putting that act of trust into spirit, into the universe, into whatever higher power you believe in. And you're saying, okay, you got this. I surrender. I'm putting my energy forward, and now I hope that you catch me. And guess what? The universe always does. Maybe not in the way you conceive of or perceive of, but the universe always catches you. So one of the main things we say when we know we should be doing something, we should be taking action in some way, is we say, oh, it's not the right time. It's not the right time. The conditions are all wrong. The conditions are wrong. And that's your soul's growth. That's actually what your soul wants, is the conditions to be all wrong. Because your soul wants you to trust so much in yourself that you can move forward even with the conditions not being perfect, even with it not being exactly how you imagined it, that you can move forward because you trust so deeply and so much. So the timing being wrong, it's never the right time to make that next big business move. It's never the right time to break up with that person. It's never the right time to fire somebody. It's never the right time for anything, really. You know, when you really think about it, it's never the right time, but yet it's always the right time. So today we're going to be diving into what it's going to do for you to act. And this is coming from a beautiful divine masculine place, okay? If you're familiar with this terminology, divine masculine, divine feminine, we all have both within us. And part of your new earth business and your new earth leadership is bringing these two aspects of yourself into harmony with one another. That means dreaming when it's time to dream, acting when it's time to act, and bringing forward each aspect of yourself in the right moment with a conscious choice. So, what happens when we put things off? And there's actually a podcaster that I really love, whose podcast I follow, and his name is, I always want to say Joel, but it's Leo. It's Leo Skepi, and he has a beautiful podcast that he talks about this, and he brought it forward and really like articulated it in a way that I had never heard before. Like, I have had this experience and felt this experience, but I can't say that I've ever heard somebody like bring it forward in the way that he did. And so Leo was saying on his podcast that there's a point between the awareness that you need to change something and the action you take itself to change it. And many of us, this is coming from me now, many of us hesitate within that space, right? So there's the point that the download comes in, or you have the intuitive hit, or you get new information. There's that awareness point. And then there's the awareness point of I need to change this, and the action point of I need to change this and making the change. Now, there can be any amount of time in between these two things. And I'm going to use my own personal example for this. But what's really interesting when you think about it is the shorter the time between the awareness and the action, the quicker things are going to move in your physical reality. So, for my audience in specific, I want to talk a lot about your priorities and your intentions, because I, for one, know my business, and before this, I have another YouTube channel. I know for a fact my business could have unfolded much quicker than taking the 4 years it took in order for me to really see a lot of turnover and a lot of success, and, for it to really bloom. I know it could have been much shorter, but my priority was more of a balance in life. There was a point in time where during that business, I was working another job. So YouTube was my side hustle. And then there was a point in time where I was pregnant, and a point in time where I was a new mother. And so for my priorities of the way that my life looked, those things came first. And the YouTube kind of took a back seat. Now that's shifting a little bit. I have a little bit more space and time, a little bit more freedom, a little more creativity, a little more flexibility, and we love it. We're here for it. We love it. But everybody has to make this choice for yourselves. And this is part of running a soul-aligned business. And you're breaking blueprints of what you thought work needed to look like, what you thought, the number of hours you thought you could work and make X amount of money, or what you thought your home life versus your work life had to look like, right? I grew up in a family where my dad worked 60-hour work weeks. We didn't see him. He didn't come on some of our family vacations. So a lot of my images around what success in work looks like stems from those wounds and stems from those ideals that my dad upholded. So I've been actively retraining my divine masculine, because if you don't know, your dad and your mom both help shape and mold your divine masculine and your divine feminine. Because when you think about it, when we're young, our parents are our idols, right? They are those larger than life figures. They are essentially gods in our experience. So they mold and craft everything that we experience. And in our minds, those are our superheroes, right? So your father is naturally going to become your divine masculine. Your mother is naturally going to become your divine feminine. And their faults and their strengths are going to be, assimilated into you and your belief systems. And that's why so many of us that are creating our new earth businesses and our soul aligned businesses are struggling. Either we just don't have enough money, or we have too many clients, or we have out of balance in our work life, and whatever it might be. There's so many different ways that this can play out. But we're not looking towards these earlier ideals of what that looks like. And so what we're looking at today is how to just let go of the excuses and just start doing. to get into your divine masculine, right? Who knows? Who can think of somebody off the top of their head that like they just get it done. They don't complain about it. They don't stall. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They just get it done. And there's something about that that's very, very attractive. There's something about that quality in a person. And for me, of course, specifically a man, but there's something about that quality that's just like, yeah, like you just get it done. That's powerful. There's power in that. Because when we put things off, that's self-abandonment. When you know better, you know that something's been on your list for weeks, you start to feel that energetic drain. You start to feel like, oh my God, like this thing is weighing on me. It's getting heavy, just like responding to a text message. When you need to respond to a text message and you don't want to, it becomes heavy and it's on your mind and you've repeated it. You've played it out like 15 times in your mind. You've completed the action 100 times in your mind, yet you haven't actually done it in physical reality. So that energy begins weighing on you and you can't get new energy in because you haven't output that energy. So when you are just able to act on it, to get it done without the drama, without the stories, without the narratives, just do it. Just do it. Just get it done. There's something freeing about that. There's something energetically powerful about that. And it's something that in our businesses we need to embody, especially those of us who want to run on a more feminine cycle. There's nothing wrong with that, running on a feminine cycle. But we also need to balance that with taking action in our masculine, our divine masculine. So that brings me to my experience. So I want to bring back this idea of when the awareness hits you and when you act on it. So I'm going to do like a long story short kind of situation. And you guys, okay, if you made it this far into the video, I'm going to share something with you. I recorded this episode already once today, and this is the thing I'm going to talk to you about excuses, okay? When you're starting out, when you're going into, let's say, like uncharted territory for your ego, for your psyche, for your soul, when you're going into uncharted territory, weird stuff is going to go wrong. There's going to be a lot of things that start going wrong for seemingly no reason. So I recorded this video already. This entire episode I've recorded. And when I went back to edit it this afternoon, I lost all the sound. I don't know what happened. The sound was gone. I didn't have any of it. I checked the file. I checked everything. I checked the connections. I don't know what happened. And I knew this was something coming, checking my commitment to this. Because you guys, already I've been working without a nanny. So we had a nanny. This is part of my story. We had a nanny for about 6 months, and then weird stuff started happening energetically with our dog and the nanny. And then both me and the nanny had our own separate aha moments. She had an aha moment that she needed to dig more into her family life and her spiritual life, and she needed to stop working. And I had an aha moment that I think Claire's ready for school, our little daughter's ready for school. And it was exciting and it felt good and it felt cool and it was like expansive and felt freeing. And again, it was this awareness moment. It was that point of like, things need to change. And it was so aligned the way everything happened. And on the outside, it could have looked negative or scary or like a problem, right? And that's the excuses that will come up when I'm, moving into this new space with this new podcast and this new business idea and all of these beautiful things that I want to do. Every excuse in the book starts to come up. This is not the right time. I don't have the support. How am I supposed to put a 18-week workload into 7 or 8 hours during my daughter's nap schedules? How am I supposed to expand my business when I'm barely breaking even? How am I supposed to do all of these things, right? And on the outside, on paper, it looks like, oh, this is a big shit show. This is a big problem. And you know what? That's the mind. That's the ego trying to keep us small, trying to keep us safe, trying to keep us from expanding too much too quickly, right? The ego is just designed to keep us safe. And so all of the excuses are going to come up. It's not the right time. I don't have the support. I don't have the capacity. and all of these things. And so I really hesitated to go look at schools. I was feeling so much resistance coming up because I knew it was the direction I needed to move in. It was the thing that was going to bring me freedom, that was going to bring me excitement, that's going to give me energy back. And it was also the thing I'm most scared of, which is releasing my daughter to the world. We've been in this beautiful, and we've been blessed beyond belief. We've been blessed beyond belief to be in this little cocoon. For the last 2 years, we've been in our own little bubble, our own little cocoon, and we've only had the most sacred, beautiful people coming into this cocoon. And now it's like, oh my God, I got to release her into the world. And who knows who she's going to meet or how she's going to be treated or anything like that. And this is where that trust comes in. I need to surrender and trust that she has what she needs to be okay 1 or 2 days a week while she's in daycare. While she's in play school. And so this has been the thing for me on the stop with the excuses and just do it. So I had the awareness that she needs to go to school, that it's time. I'm seeing a bird fly out the window right now. So I had the awareness, and we visited schools. We found one that we really aligned with, that Claire felt at home with, all of these things. And then what ends up happening, I get complacent. I start dragging my feet. I'm like, maybe I could make this like work from home, be full-time mom, full-time cleaning lady, full-time working. Like maybe I could make this thing work. I got started to get comfortable again. And I'm like, maybe she needs more transition time. Maybe we're not ready. And this is where I talk about choosing your priorities, right? Because if you're a single person, you can move and make these decisions as quickly as you want, right? But when you're somebody and you have a family, you have a spouse, you have people that are relying on you, right? You have to all be on board with the same thing. So if I would have acted on this, enrolled Claire in school like the day I had the awakening, the awareness, my husband wouldn't have been on board. Claire would have been hit out of left field with this thing. And so it's okay to slow down. And this is the thing, right? There's nothing wrong with flowing with things. There's nothing wrong with being in your feminine. There's nothing wrong with pausing things. You just can't be a victim about why isn't it coming faster? Why am I not getting what I want? And the reality is because you're not making the choices. You're not taking the actions. And that's okay. It's okay if you don't want to take the actions, but then you have to be also okay with things unfolding slower. Again, with this soul-aligned business thing, it's about taking radical responsibility for what you are creating in your life. And this is why the most powerful thing you can do right now, is to write down your priorities. Write down and get clear about it. How much time do you want to spend with your family? With your children, with your spouse? How much time do you want to spend working? How much free time or alone time do you want to have? How much time for recreational activities do you want to have? And actually map that out. Put it in a list, map it out, put it in a pie graph, however you need to do visually so that it makes sense for you, so that you can understand with this soul-aligned business how you want to structure your time. And when you do that, the most beautiful thing is you get the freedom back. It's about taking radical responsibility of your time and how you want to spend your time, what feels right, what feels good to you. And if you're not there yet, if you have these projections and it doesn't look at all like your current life, that's okay. We're working towards it. I'm working towards it too. I would like to be working more than what I am right now, but my daughter's not at a developmental age where that would make practical sense, right? So we're always balancing things, and especially if you have a family or you have a spouse, we're balancing things, right? And we all need to be on the same page, which is why we have to choose our priorities, which is also why when it comes to taking empowered action, it was okay that I had this awareness of something needs to change, and it's only being acted on about 3 to 4 weeks later. That's okay, because my priority is making sure my family unit is all on board with the direction we're moving forward. And I actually had this conversation with James the other day where I was asking him, I was like, look, I'm struggling right now. I'm trying to wear a lot of hats. I'm nervous that my business is not going to move forward. And he's like, look, you're at this crossroads. And as soon as he said that, I realized I've been at this crossroad before. And there was a point with my online business where I was like, either I'm going to expand this business or I'm going to fall pregnant and I'm going to have a baby. And I chose to have a baby. That was what was in alignment for me at that time. And so my business again took a back seat. Now we're at that same crossroads again. And really funny, I've been having things like, oh, maybe I'm going to get pregnant again. That's been one of my fears. It's like, maybe I'm going to get pregnant again and I have to put off my business again and have to put off all of these things that I want to do, all these things I want to complete, all these projects I want to make, all these resources. Maybe I'm going to have to put that all off. And these fears have been surfacing. But guess what? You know what eliminates fear is action. Action eliminates anxiety. So when you take that next step, the road appears. When you take that next step, then the road appears again. It's just about making this next move and then that next move. You don't have to have it all planned out. In fact, you shouldn't have it all planned out. You should be existing in some sort of a state of unknowing, because that's how you know you're co-creating with spirit. Is if you don't know the exact plan, that's how you know you're in the void. You're in the place of pure potential, pure possibility. If you knew everything, then there's no point to living, really. So, for me and my business, my priorities are my little ones, my family, my partner. My business is a priority. And now I'm being gifted this opportunity to shift into a space where I'm going to be able to take on a bigger workload. My daughter's at a point where she can play on her own. She can have fun. She can be with other people for longer periods of time without missing mommy. So we're at this beautiful expansion point, but it takes me acting on it, right? I need to take responsibility for calling the school, for enrolling her, for taking her, and for facing those fears that every mother or father or parent or caretaker faces when they let their child go, when they let go another layer of control. I have to face those fears. I have to take responsibility for that. But without the action, I could not move forward. And the same is true for you in your business. Without the action, without acting on it, you're not going to be able to move forward. It's about being empowered and moving forward, not only at a rate that's comfortable for you and maybe even somewhat uncomfortable. Like if you really want to expand your soul, again, there's never going to be a perfect time. You may not feel ready yet. I didn't think I was going to be sending her to school until she was like 3.5, or 4. And here we are, almost 2 years old, and she's expressing that she wants to go to school and she's ready for it. And I never thought that I was going to be the one not ready. Like I always thought like I was going to be the one ready and maybe she wouldn't be ready. And of course I still have those fears, but also at the same time, like I'm seeing the benefit that this will bring to not only me, her, but our entire family dynamic. So it's really important for you to also put those things into perspective and say, when I'm choosing myself, I'm also choosing those around me. It's not like we used to, we grew up in a different time where a lot of us felt like we had to sacrifice ourselves for the ones around us, or we had to attune to them with losing ourselves. And that's not where we're at anymore. We're realizing that we can actually have our business, we can have our family, we can have our love, we can have our wealth, we can have our abundance, we can have our health, we can have it all, but we have to be willing to do the inner work and take the action when the action comes. So if you're somebody that struggles with procrastination, know that that is a subtle form of self-sabotage in a way. When you know there's things you need to do, taking action is going to give you so much energy. So here's what I recommend. If you're somebody that struggles with taking action, what you need to do is when something comes into your head, oh, I want to do this, or I need to do this, or this is on my mind, write it down. Make yourself a to-do list, put it in your phone, put it on paper, get it out of your mind. Because the more you think about it over and over and over again, the more of like an energetic deficit you are putting yourself in. You are like digging yourself an energetic hole. and it becomes really difficult to climb out of it. So that procrastination will stop when you get it out on paper and you just start acting. Again, this is about creating momentum. And the way you create momentum is just by starting to do it. You start doing it. You do it when you don't even want to do it. You show up regardless. You film an entire episode, lose the sound, and then have to film it all over again. Hopefully this version is better than the last version. I'm sure it will be. There's a reason for everything. But this is the thing, you guys. This is where discipline comes in. And this is, again, a very divine masculine characteristic. Is discipline means you do it and you do it and you do it. You show up. You're consistent. You continue to, and this actually brings me to an interesting point, which is a friend of mine who's like a somatic holistic body worker. I've been helping her with her social media. And she started her social media. We decided what platform was going to work well for her. She started her social media. And then she got to a point where she kind of lost the momentum and she was focused on physical reality. And then she had this beautiful awakening where she's like back at it now. And she's like, Serena, now I'm posting things about like my personal life. And I know it's not about my business. And I'm like, it's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's okay. Just post. And she's like, yeah, I was thinking about you. And it reminds me of a quote that I love, which is like, build it first and make it good later. This is the truth when you're starting a business. You need to get the momentum going. You can work on your etiquette, your technique, your perfectionism. You can work on all of that once you have the momentum going. But it's so important in the beginning to just do it and do it. And actually, quantity creates quality. Okay, so quantity creates quality. The more and more and more you do something, the better and better and better it's going to get. It's never going to be perfect. And you have to allow yourself to be a beginner. You're not perfect. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not perfect either. I'm still fudging around with this sound thing. I'm still working on it. But guess what? The important part is we're out here sharing our light, showing up for ourselves. We're pursuing our dreams, and you really can't waste. Here we are, you guys, in New Earth. We are literally living in New Earth. We are creating in New Earth. Do we have a minute to spare? We don't. We don't have a minute to spare. It's like, let's go. Let's get it going now and start. It is never too early or too late to start. When you start is when you start. When you create the momentum is when that momentum can carry you, right? If you create that momentum, you create the habit, it will carry you through the days where you don't feel like it. I show up even on the days where I don't feel like it because it's a habit now. And it's been my habit for the last 4 years. So I show up regardless. If I'm low energy, I show up. If I'm high energy, I show up. If I'm sad, I show up. And guess what? This business has carried me through some of the darkest moments. That's really true. This soul-aligned business has allowed me to heal myself through sharing and expressing my views and my values. And I have found such a beautiful community in doing so. And that's what I want for you. I want you to follow what you know is for you and to start taking action on it today. So tell me in the comments below, what are you taking action on today? What are you going to do today that can help get you to where you want to go? Where do you want to go? Think about your dreams. Think about what you want to bring into fruition. Let's catalyze each other by sharing in the comments what you actually want to call forward and what first step are you going to take. And maybe it's not even your first step. Maybe it's your 52nd step. But what step are you going to take today that you've been resisting or that you know is going to take you where you want to go? Share it in the comments below so I can give you love, so that we can catalyze each other, motivate each other, and support each other. Then also, if you've made it this far, give me the emoji that's like the crystal ball. give me the crystal ball emoji if you've made it this far in the podcast. And if you have made it this far in the podcast and you're just starting out your new earth business, or maybe you've had an online platform and you're ready to convert it to a soul aligned business and you're not sure where to start, you can check out the link down below. This is my free 10 soul principles, which is going to guide you back in the direction of yourself, your authenticity. So if you're looking for a foundational blueprint of like, what do I even build this thing on? Check that out. It's a lifesaver. It's going to speak directly to your core, right? To your soul. And it's going to help you transition from old earth paradigms to new earth paradigms. So you're welcome for that. And if you want to donate to this podcast, if you want to help me, kind of complete this energy exchange or just support me in my vision and my dreams, I have been doing work out of my bedroom for the last however long, 4 years. And I've decided it is time for me to have a home office. So if you donate to the podcast, you are helping me build my dream home office. And I will certainly keep you updated on the progress. So if you'd like to donate, the link is there. And I'm sending you so much love. Please, please, please save this video, share it with somebody you love, come back to it when you're feeling low energy, low motivation, and it will help you through the next step and the next stages of your journey. I'm sending you so much love. Big love. Bye.